Ever since I could remember, I wanted to be part of Hollywood. Not just in it, but deep in the mix. The Oscars, red carpets, and glamour. For a kid from LA, it was a calling. The Academy Awards were the ultimate symbol of prestige in the film business. I started small, sneaking into premieres, getting photos with stars, dreaming of being there too. I delved into photography, directing, producing, and even stunt work. Eventually starting my own TV channels and capturing some great interviews and having a great time, but that wasn't enough. The Oscars were different. They were magical. In 2004, I did something crazy. I bought an Oscar, I took it to Oscar after parties, and showed it off like it was my big ticket to the big leagues. I even tried to sell it. It was supposed to be a joke, like a stunt. That's how I ended up here in this jail cell, charged with grand theft, trespassing, and copyright infringement. I respect the Oscars and the Academy more than anyone knows, but I crossed the line, and they made sure I paid for it. This isn't just a story. It's a cautionary tale. Hollywood, I'm sorry. A journey from dreams to reality, and the price you pay for chasing the stars too recklessly.
Culver City, we'll do the wining and dining, give them the Maybach, the penthouse, all the regular stuff we normally do. Yeah, we don't have to go to Antarctica. We don't have to. We can just bring them in, do the Sora AI thing.
Mark.
Oh, hold on a second.
My film is on your desk. And you need to make my film. It's one of a kind. You haven't heard anything like this yet.
What is it about your film? I got 100 scripts on my desk right now, just like yours. What is it about yours that's going to razzle-dazzle me?
Okay, I'm glad you said that.
A shipment of Oscar statuettes has disappeared from the loading docks at Roadway Express.
We received a call from a resident who lives in the area.
Did I know they was missing? No. I've seen them on TV. That's how close as I've been to them.
He reported that he had found some packages in a dumpster behind the market behind me.
2 suspects have been arrested Saturday, March 18th for grand theft of the 55 Oscar silhouettes.
The 2 people who stole the shipment of the Oscars both served time for that.
These awards are so unique, they're so coveted.
I went into a little bit of shock and awe just thinking about the wonder of it.
If it had been any other statue, I don't think it would have been as big a deal.
Because it represents the pinnacle of achievement.
In the film business, it's the pinnacle of everything there is.
I had more Oscars than any of the movie stars.
52 of these silhouettes have been recovered.
I don't know how many Oscars are floating out there. Approximately 1.5 dozen that had been sold repeatedly.
I didn't know you can find an Oscar on eBay. And I was like, I could really buy it? I couldn't believe it.
First, give me a little bit of a backstory on yourself.
My name is Fernando Escovar. I'm a photographer / stuntman / director.
One evening, Fernando said to me, "Come on over, I have something to show you."
I didn't know you can find an Oscar on eBay. And I was like, how could I get this Oscar? I could really buy it?
How much you paid for that?
Paid $5K for it.
5 G's?
Yeah.
For an Oscar?
Yeah.
He's the only guy that would spend $5,000 on a damn Oscar.
And there it was. There was an Oscar on eBay. And so I had to have it. And but actually, AMPUS shut the auction down. I still contacted the guy in Australia out of eBay.
When he saw the thing was coming, he just kept calling. Is it on the way? Is it on the way? Is it on the way?
And I sent him the money, and a few weeks later, which I thought he was going to rip me off, a few weeks later, he sent it. One day out of the blue, here comes a DHL yellow box, but I still didn't think it was the Oscar. I thought, well, who sent me something from Australia? It's the Oscar.
Fernando, yeah, California. I thought everyone in California had an Oscar on the coffee table. Don't know why he's calling me.
In this documentary on Hollywood, I'm sorry. What are you sorry about?
I'm saying sorry to Hollywood for disrespecting the Academy and the whole Hollywood system.
So there was an impulsivity.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that. Does that get you in trouble often, your impulsivity?
Yeah, I'm very, very spontaneous and impulsive, absolutely. It's a downfall, but sometimes maybe it's a blessing too. It's both. I've seen both happen where I'm too quick to buy something, too quick of a decision without breaking down the ramifications or the details of what could happen from any action I've made or make.
Tell me about mom and dad growing up.
Mom and dad. I actually spoke about that today at my anger management class. We had to talk about that.
Why did you want to buy an Oscar? What's the point?
I love Oscars. And I love them so much, I ended up buying one on eBay.
I heard about that, yeah. Whose was it, though? Was it just blank?
It was a blank Oscar, yeah.
Whose name was actually on the Oscar?
It was a blank Oscar.
There's such a thing as a blank Oscar?
Yeah.
So they actually have blank Oscars floating around?
Actually, at the Academy Awards, all the Oscars are blank. They engrave them at the party.
So you bought a virgin Oscar. It didn't even belong to anybody.
Exactly.
Who stole it, though?
So if you found an Oscar, what would you do?
Oh, I'd turn it in. I mean, I'd definitely put it in the paper. Hey, I found somebody's Oscar. But if I found an Oscar, it'd probably have their name. They'd have their name etched on it or something, you know.
Yeah.
But I would definitely turn it in.
What if you found a blank one?
If I find a blank one, it would have Danny Trejo's name on it.
So I bought that Academy Award through a guy I met on eBay from Australia. And I get tuxedos, we get a limo, and we hit all the Oscar after parties with the award. It got us full access to everything. Had a great night. But then it gets sketchy when I tried to sell it, and that's when the cops of the Academy came after me. So this is what happened. Check it out.
So you got arrested by undercover cops. Tell me how that went down.
Well, me and my friend Earl were coming home to Toluca Lake. We're driving home. And I pull up into my driveway, and we were being followed. And out of every direction you can think of, cops were running up to us, holding guns up, you know, like freeze, freeze.
You mean they sent cops after you for an Oscar, and they were pointing guns at you just for an Oscar?
All these guns in my face, just like, no, really, like this far away, dude. Like I stole their, I was like this, I didn't know what.
Down the street, there were 3 robberies.
Right, not my house.
Yeah.
I was like, you got the wrong Escovar, bro. You know? It was a trip, dude. It was a trip.
Funny,
10 cops at my house over an award.
I was in my front garden. Fernando and Earl pulled up. I saw their car go by, and I said, oh, there's Fernando and Earl. The next thing I knew, I didn't really see all this, but there was a ruckus, and Earl had his hands behind his back. These guys all had their guns drawn.
That must have been a heavy-duty Oscar.
I was totally scared, too. I mean, guns in your face, no one likes it. A gun can go off.
Easily.
So it's multiple cops, not just 1 or 2?
No, there was like 8 cops.
So it's like a team of cops?
There was a team.
It's like SWAT?
It was. They had shotguns out. They were all around us.
Helicopters?
There was no helicopter.
But a team of cops?
A team of cops.
One of them took Fernando in the house.
And I had no idea why they were there. I was like, why are you guys here? And they're like, you know why we're here. You know why we're here.
I really thought the LAPD had many more other problems to take care of than to track down a guy who bought an Oscar.
Okay, so there's 18 missing Oscars or more. So I've asked my friend Sean where celebrities keep their Oscars. Watch this. You're a reporter, journalist, and you've asked all these Oscar winners where they put their Oscar, where they place or hide their Oscar.
Yeah, I was just curious, you know, because I talk to so many people that, you know, sometimes I do little things to sort of like break up my boredom. And it just sort of hit me one day, hey, I sit in front of a lot of people who have won Academy Awards. I'm just curious, like, you know, where do you keep your Oscar and why did you decide to put it there?
My Oscar is in my bedroom.
Where?
Around the corner from my bed on a display next to a piece of art. And I keep it there because I don't want anybody to see it or touch it. Because it's mine!
Don't look at it! You've been fortunate enough to win an Academy Award, right?
Yes.
So where do you keep your Oscar?
Oh, I keep it in the front room, and you're allowed to hold it and pick it up, but only if you give a speech.
I have an office over my garage, and they build this like chimney effect up high so that you get great circulation in hot weather.
It's in the chimney?
No, it's not. Shut up.
Facebook fan question. Where does Emma Stone keep her Oscar?
My mom has it.
It's in the library, in my library in my apartment in New York.
So when people come over, do they automatically ask where you keep it, or do they like stare at it for a long time, or is it just
It's not
there?
really in a very obvious spot. I guess if you're tall, maybe.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, let's take care of business at hand first.
Okay, great.
Congratulations on winning the Academy Award last year.
That's the business. Thank you.
Business, yeah. Where do you keep it? Where do you keep it? Where do you keep your Oscar?
I think that's just private.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Most people have these cool little stories.
I
You're
don't
like,
know. It just feels so weirdly personal to say like where I
but the whole
place
world
it.
knows you won it.
I know.
All right, we'll keep it a secret.
I know. I feel
We'll
like some
keep
things
it-
are best
we'll
as a
keep
mystery.
it your secret.
Now, you have several awards, and I'm just wondering, where do you just keep your Oscar?
My husband keeps it in our office.
Oh.
And you know what? You know what's interesting? If it were me, they would be in a box somewhere. But he keeps them all in the office, and that is the one room that I go into the least.
I don't have to see it.
So where are you going to keep this Oscar?
You're very sweet. I don't think. I think.
Okay, let's go next. Where do you keep your Oscar? I ask
Oscar
everyone this
moves
question.
around depending on where he does. He kind of moves around. I haven't found his resting place. I think I like to have him. Right now, he's in my kitchen because that's where I spend most of my time, and it's nice to just look up there when I'm having a bad day or something, and I look up and I'm so thankful and grateful that I got to be a part of something that happened for me. It was truly magical and a wonderful time in my life.
Okay, my next question is, what would you do if they were to steal your Oscar? So I asked a bunch of celebrities this question, what would you do if they were to steal your Oscar? Frances McDormand's Oscar was stolen at the governor's ball. So check this out. Wait a second, what if you win an Oscar award, and what if someone that stole it that night, what would the feeling be then?
If I won and somebody stole it?
Yeah.
I guess I wasn't supposed to have it.
If you were to win an Oscar again and someone stole it that night, what would you do? Would you be all Cesario 2 on them?
Sicario 2 and Sicario 3 on them. Whatever.
There you go.
Sicario 10 on them.
Well, say that again?
If I were to give you an Oscar and someone were to steal that Oscar, what would you do?
They can have it. They probably need it more than me.
Okay.
Not killing nobody for no Oscar. My work could never go away. The Oscar could rust and all of that. But my work will always be here. That's what's important to me. If I get an Oscar, if I get a Golden Globe or Emmy, I thank my fans. That's for my fans. That's not for me. That's for my fans. I just want you to feel good Tuesday nights, 10:30 on TBS. How do you lose an Academy Award?
Well, that wouldn't happen.
Why not?
Because I wasn't allowed.
It happened.
It happened?
It happened to Frances McDormand. And
Someone stole her Oscar? We got it. We did it. We did it. We did it. I gotta go. We got it. We did it. We did it. We did it. I gotta go. They gotta go. I gotta go.
Is that his?
Like, after you receive your Oscar, if it gets stolen, that's on you. Okay, that ain't got nothing to do with me.
You're not going to help with that.
I can't do nothing about that. That's you being drunk and being sloppy. I can't do nothing about that. You set it down, it got snatched, that's on you.
Judge, are you still on the bench?
I am. You are. Justice Judge Maybelline, seen daily, Monday through Fridays, 10:30.
Amazing. So if you were to see a case about someone who took an Oscar to these Oscar after parties and then sold that Oscar later and was charged with attempted grand theft, what would you think? You saw that. What would you think of that case?
I think that case, the person deserves to be justice, and the justice would be to have him sentenced, because it certainly was not even attempted grand theft. It was grand theft. He just got caught and it got recovered, but he still stole it and was not his, and I think he needs to be punished for that.
So I finally had to go to court. As soon as I walked in, attorneys were staring at me, glaring at me, and they were like talking amongst themselves a lot and seeing how they can get me, and I was really scared. I was like, I'm gone for 10 years at least. And they said some things to the judge because they were really making their point about copyright infringement, trespassing, impersonating an Oscar winner. They were upset. But we had a sidebar, and the judge and the attorneys were all talking.
It's a trophy.
Thank
we
you.
understand that the Academy's
It's
feelings
what it
have been hurt.
represents. It's not just a trophy.
No, this is ridiculous. This is my last case. I'm deciding
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
$5,000 restitution, 3 years banned from the Oscars.
And see how we could work it out. And luckily my attorney really stuck up for me. He did a really great job. He was scared at first, but then we settled for restitution. I can't go to the Oscars for 3 years, and I'm really sorry. I'm sorry to the Academy, and I'm sorry to all of Hollywood of what I did, and I'm glad I didn't have to go to jail. I just had to clean the freeways, and that's how it all ended. How come the Oscars and the LAPD are so tight?
Gosh, I couldn't answer that. I don't know. I mean,
kinda. It seems like the Oscars and LAPD are like pretty good friends.
You know what? I wouldn't even know what to say to that. I mean,
Okay. Well, how come? Has this ever happened with any other kind of award, an MTV award or an Emmy?
Gosh, I don't know. I don't know.
I know that the Academy is very, very tough on that, of people getting Oscars, you know, from other people and certainly getting them illegally.
You guys had the warrant. It was the worst looking warrant I've ever seen. It was like scribbled out. It was like, you know, a lot of mistakes on it. What was wrong with that warrant?
You know, I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to see it. But if, you know, I'm sure everything was in there. Otherwise, the judge wouldn't have signed it. So.
Of course, I'm here with a detective that arrested me for Hollywood. I'm sorry.
No.
Yes.
Good man.
Yes.
Good
He arrested me. It's okay. It's okay. We're friends now. With the irony, the coincidence, everything. It's so fun. You look sharp as ever.
You too.
Ever. You look great. So cool. Friends become enemies. Enemies become friends. That's Hollywood. No, it was never an enemy. It was just, you know, it was just an Oscar that got lost, and I found it. Okay. See you.
Hey, have a great time.
I will.
So again, what were you charged with?
Attempted grand theft.
It's not up to the Academy to decide who gets prosecuted and who gets sentenced to jail. That's within the discretion of the prosecutor.
I think he needs to be punished for that.
You don't mess with the Oscars.
That's what my film's all about. So, did I wow you? Did I dazzle you?
You're very fucking right.